Avoid this mistake if you want to transform your life. Most people think success comes from smooth roads and easy choices, but that couldn't be further from the truth. The truth is, real growth, the kind that changes everything, happens when you're in the trenches, facing the hardest challenges of your life. If you've ever felt like giving up, like the weight of the world is too much to carry, you're not alone. But what if I told you that those moments of despair are the gateway to your greatest breakthroughs? Today, we're diving into the principles that can transform adversity into your most powerful advantage. From facing pain head-on, finding clarity in chaos, and discovering strength you didn't know you had, this journey isn't about avoiding difficulty, it's about embracing it. Stick around, because the lessons we'll explore today might just change how you face every challenge in your life. Number 1. Embrace pain as your greatest teacher. Life is full of moments that light us up. The warmth of laughter with loved ones, the pride of an achievement well earned, or the simple joy of watching a sunset. These moments make us feel alive, as though the world is filled with endless possibilities. But what happens when the light dims? When life doesn't go as planned and pain settles in like an uninvited guest? Pain is something we instinctively try to avoid. We cover it with distractions, scrolling endlessly on our phones, binge-watching shows, or diving headfirst into work to avoid facing the heaviness that lingers beneath the surface. But what if I told you that pain isn't just something to endure? What if it's the one thing that can truly teach you about yourself? Think back to the hardest moment in your life. Maybe it was a breakup, the loss of a loved one, or a failure that left you questioning your worth. At the time, it felt unbearable, like the weight of the world was crushing you. But now, with the benefit of hindsight, you might see that it taught you something about resilience, about your limits, about what truly matters. The ancient Stoics understood this. They saw pain not as an enemy, but as a mirror, reflecting who we really are. Pain strips away the superficial and forces us to confront our truest selves. It's in these moments of struggle that we discover a depth of strength we didn't know we had. Imagine life as a sculptor chiseling away at a block of marble. Each blow might feel like it's breaking you, but in reality, it's shaping you into something extraordinary. That's what pain does. It refines you. It's not easy to sit with it, to face it head-on, but in doing so, you gain something invaluable: wisdom and strength. Pain is inevitable, but growth is optional. When you stop running from it and start learning from it, you begin to see it not as a curse, but as a teacher. A teacher that, though harsh, reveals the greatest lessons of life. Number 2. Find strength in solitude. There's a quiet beauty in solitude. Think of a serene morning when the world is still and the only sound is your breath. These moments feel peaceful, almost sacred. But in today's world, solitude is often misunderstood. It's easy to confuse being alone with being lonely. We live in an age of constant connection. Our phones buzz with notifications, and our social feeds are filled with snapshots of lives that seem more exciting than our own. We're always on, always reachable, always surrounded by noise. But in this pursuit of connectivity, we've lost touch with something essential: the power of being alone. Have you ever felt overwhelmed by life? Like everything is spinning out of control and you can't even hear your own thoughts? Solitude is the antidote. It's in those quiet moments, when you disconnect from the world, that you reconnect with yourself. Think back to a time when you were truly alone. Maybe it was a walk in nature, sitting on a park bench, or even just lying in bed late at night. Those moments, though silent, often bring clarity. They allow you to sort through your thoughts, to reflect on where you've been and where you're going. Solitude isn't about isolation. It's about introspection. It's a chance to step back, to pause, and to find strength within. Some of history's greatest minds, like Marcus Aurelius or Henry David Thoreau, found their most profound insights not in the chaos of the world, but in the stillness of solitude. When life feels overwhelming, take a moment to step back. Embrace the silence. It might feel unfamiliar, even uncomfortable at first. But within that quiet, you'll discover a strength that comes from truly knowing yourself. Solitude is not a retreat from life. It's a deeper engagement with it. Number 3, let go of rigid goals. Close your eyes for a moment and picture this. You're standing on the edge of a cliff, staring at a destination on the horizon. You've mapped out every step, planned for every obstacle, and told yourself, this is where I need to go. But as you take the first step, a gust of wind throws you off balance. The path you'd so carefully planned is suddenly gone, replaced by uncertainty. We've all been taught to set goals, to create vision boards, track our progress, and push ourselves toward a finish line. And while goals can be motivating, they can also become chains that hold us back. Think about a time when you set a goal and didn't reach it. Maybe you didn't get the promotion you worked so hard for, or a relationship you invested in fell apart. The disappointment cuts deep, doesn't it? It's as if every step you took toward that goal suddenly feels meaningless. But here's the truth. The journey was never meaningless. The Stoics believed in focusing on the process rather than the outcome. They taught that while we can control our efforts, we can't control the results. And that's okay, because the value isn't in reaching the goal, it's in the growth you experience along the way. I remember a time in my own life when I was fixated on a dream job. I did everything right, networked, built my skills, and prepared endlessly. But when the opportunity slipped through my fingers, I felt crushed. It wasn't until I let go of that rigid expectation that I realized something important. The skills I'd gained and the person I'd become during that process mattered far more than the title I was chasing. Letting go of rigid goals doesn't mean giving up on ambition. It means embracing flexibility. It means trusting that the path you're on, even if it takes unexpected turns, is leading you exactly where you need to be. Life is unpredictable. No matter how carefully we plan, there will always be variables beyond our control. When you learn to let go of the need to control every outcome, you free yourself to adapt, to grow, and to discover opportunities you never imagined. The horizon may shift and the winds may change, but the journey is what shapes you. Focus on the steps you take today and trust that the destination will reveal itself in time. Number 4, seek challenges over comfort. Picture this: a cozy room, a soft couch, a warm drink in your hands. It's comfortable, isn't it? It feels safe, predictable, and unthreatening. But if you stay in that room forever, what happens? You stop growing. That comfort, which once felt so good, becomes a trap. In our society, comfort is marketed as the ultimate goal: bigger couches, better beds, easier lives. But here's the reality. True strength and growth don't come from comfort. They come from stepping outside of it. Think about a time in your life when you faced a real challenge. Maybe you started a new job in an unfamiliar city, signed up for a fitness challenge that seemed impossible, or confronted a fear you'd been avoiding for years. It wasn't easy, was it? But looking back, those were probably the moments that shaped you the most. Challenges are where we find our true potential. They push us, stretch us, and force us to confront the limits we've placed on ourselves. Take, for example, physical training. When you lift weights, you're actually tearing your muscles. It sounds counterintuitive, but those micro tears are what allow the muscle to grow back stronger. The same principle applies to life. Comfort is seductive because it's safe. but safety can also mean stagnation. The Stoics believed in seeking challenges deliberately, not recklessly, but intentionally. They understood that by exposing yourself to difficulty, you build resilience, you prepare yourself for life's inevitable storms. I remember the first time I pushed myself to do something truly outside my comfort zone, speaking in front of a large audience. The thought alone made my palms sweat, but I did it anyway. Was it perfect? Number. But the confidence and growth I gained from that experience were life-changing. Life's greatest rewards often lie on the other side of fear and discomfort. When you embrace challenges, you discover a strength within you that comfort will never reveal. So the next time you're faced with a choice between ease and effort, remember this: diamonds are formed under pressure. Number 5. Detach from overwhelming emotions. Think about the last time you lost your temper. Maybe someone cut you off in traffic, or a friend said something that hit a nerve. For that moment, it felt like the world was spinning out of control, didn't it? Emotions are powerful. They can uplift us, but they can also cloud our judgment and pull us into chaos. The Stoics had a word for this: apatheia. It doesn't mean being emotionless. It means having control over your emotions rather than letting them control you. Because when emotions run wild, they can lead us down paths we later regret. Imagine standing on the shore of a stormy sea. The waves crash violently, and it feels like you're at their mercy. Now imagine you're in a boat, with a steady hand on the wheel. The waves are still there, but you're in control. That's what emotional detachment feels like. It's not about avoiding emotions, but steering through them with clarity and purpose. We've all been there, overwhelmed by anger, paralyzed by fear, or consumed by sadness. And in those moments, it feels like there's no way out. But the truth is, emotions are temporary. They rise, they fall, and they pass. The Stoics taught us to acknowledge our emotions without judgment, to observe them like clouds passing through the sky. I once faced a situation that tested this principle to its core. A project I'd poured my heart into failed, and my initial reaction was devastation. But instead of letting the failure define me, I paused. I took a deep breath and asked myself, what can I control in this situation? That simple question shifted my perspective. Detaching from emotions doesn't mean suppressing them. It means stepping back and choosing how to respond. When you master this skill, you gain a sense of calm that no storm can shake. You become the steady hand on the wheel, navigating life with grace and strength. Number 6. Be your own advocate. Think about the people you admire, the leaders, the trailblazers, the ones who seem to carve their own path. What sets them apart? It's not just talent or luck. It's their ability to stand up for themselves, even when the odds are stacked against them. In life, no one will fight for you as fiercely as you can fight for yourself. It's a hard truth, but an empowering one. Being your own advocate means recognizing your worth and demanding the respect and opportunities you deserve. I used to believe that if I just worked hard and stayed quiet, good things would come my way. But time and again, I found myself overlooked. It wasn't until I started speaking up, voicing my ideas, asking for what I wanted, that things began to change. Advocating for yourself can be uncomfortable. It means stepping into the spotlight, even when you'd rather stay in the shadows. It means risking rejection, conflict, or judgment. But it's worth it. Because every time you stand up for yourself, you reinforce your value, not just to others, but to yourself. Think back to a time when you didn't speak up, and it cost you. Maybe it was a missed opportunity at work, or a personal boundary that was crossed. Now imagine if you had found the courage to say, "This is what I need," or "This is what I deserve." How would things have been different? The truth is, Self-advocacy isn't just about getting ahead. It's about self-respect. It's about taking control of your life and refusing to let others define your worth. When you stand up for yourself, you inspire others to do the same. Remember, the world doesn't always hand out what you deserve. Sometimes you have to reach out and take it. You are your own strongest ally, your own fiercest defender. So speak up, be bold, advocate for yourself, because no one else can do it better than you. Number 7. Turn adversity into breakthroughs. Close your eyes for a moment and think back to a time in your life when everything seemed to fall apart. Maybe it was losing a job, going through a painful breakup, or facing a setback that left you questioning your path. In that moment, it probably felt like the end of the world. But here you are now, stronger, wiser, and carrying lessons you couldn't have learned any other way. Adversity is life's way of testing us, of revealing the strength we don't realize we have. At first glance, challenges feel like roadblocks, but what if they're really stepping stones? What if every setback is an opportunity in disguise, waiting for us to uncover its potential? Take a moment to think about some of the greatest stories of triumph you've ever heard. From athletes who fought back from career-ending injuries to entrepreneurs who rose from bankruptcy to build empires, there's one common thread. They didn't let adversity define them. Instead, they used it as fuel to propel themselves forward. I once faced a challenge that seemed insurmountable. A project I'd worked on for months was rejected outright. I was devastated, filled with self-doubt and frustration. But after the initial wave of emotion passed, I realized I had two choices: let the failure consume me or learn from it and try again. I chose the latter, and what came next was a breakthrough I never could have imagined. The Stoics understood this concept well. They taught that we cannot control what happens to us, but we can control how we respond. They called it turning obstacles into opportunities. When we embrace this mindset, adversity becomes less of an enemy and more of a teacher. Think about the pressure that turns coal into diamonds. It's not the absence of difficulty that creates beauty, it's the presence of it. In the same way, the challenges we face can refine us, shaping us into something stronger, more resilient, and more extraordinary than we were before. Adversity forces us to innovate, to think differently, and to push beyond our perceived limits. It's in the moments when we feel like giving up that breakthroughs are born. Every great invention, every piece of art, every act of courage, it all stems from someone who faced a challenge and chose to rise above it. Now, imagine looking back on your life years from now. Will you see adversity as the thing that broke you or the thing that made you? The answer lies in how you choose to respond. You have the power to turn any obstacle into an opportunity. It starts with a shift in perspective, a refusal to let hardship define you. You are stronger than you know, and every challenge you face is a chance to prove it, to yourself and to the world. Remember, breakthroughs are born from breakdowns, so the next time life knocks you down, don't ask, "Why me?" Instead ask, "What's the lesson here? What can I create from this?" Because the greatest stories, the ones that inspire generations, are written by those who turned their pain into progress and their adversity into achievement. Let this be your reminder. Every storm has the potential to clear the way for new growth. Keep pushing. Your breakthrough is closer than you think. As we wrap up this journey through the timeless wisdom of resilience and self-mastery, remember this: the road to becoming your best self isn't easy, but it's worth every step. The challenges you face aren't there to stop you. They're there to shape you into someone stronger, wiser, and more capable than ever before. Each choice you make to endure, grow, and rise above adversity is a step toward writing a story of courage and triumph. Drop a 100 in the comments if you've watched this far. It shows you're part of the 0.01% who don't just start things, they finish them. If you're truly committed to transforming your life, take the next step. Join this community of like-minded individuals by subscribing to our channel. Let's continue building strength, resilience, and purpose together. This is just the beginning. Your journey is far from over.